This is a special presentation from News Channel 9, WSYR Syracuse.
The following is brought to you drained of living color. I can do a fairly decent imitation of the way Bela Lugosi did Dracula. And they said, yeah, let's try that, and we'll do it tomorrow night.
And with that, a Central New York legend was born. You know, there might not have been a lot of planning ahead of time for Baron Daemon, but there certainly was a lot of passion there, enough so that we're still talking about it more than 60 years later. You know, Baron Daemon was a phenomenon here in Central New York in the early 1960s. The right face at the right time for a community that was hungry for whatever they could get from local television. And the face behind that cape was Channel 9's first superstar, Mike Price.
The Baron arrived at Halloween 1962, just after Channel 9 signed on the air. At first, he hosted late-night movies on the weekends. The tapes were used over and over again to save money, so there's really not much left. This scene from one of the very first weeks was saved on an old blooper reel.
Have you ever noticed that in these old, slightly haunted houses, that the pictures are so lifelike that they seem to reach right out at you? No, that's the clothes.
And I said, oh, excuse me. I said, I've got an idea. I said, I can do a fairly decent imitation of the way Bela Lugosi did Dracula, Count Dracula. And I said, maybe you could have some sort of a ghoulish host during the commercial breaks, and we could do some skits and have some fun with that. So a couple of days later, they came back to me and they said, yeah, let's try that, and we'll do it tomorrow night.
Almost that quickly, the Baron became a hit. They increased the budget enough to buy a real cape. The makeup evolved, and the Baron took off. Then the complaints started. The movies didn't come on until late at night, and parents couldn't get their kids to bed until they saw the Baron, little kids. So station management spun their late-night movie host into an afternoon kids show.
The whole idea, the whole premise was to be a ghoulish host, but not to frighten anybody, really, but to be a comedic host, sort of like a clown in a vampire suit. And it seems that both kids and adults liked it. Our range of audience was from kids 4 or 5 years of age, preschoolers, up to adults that remember those old movies, and they enjoyed that sort of slapstick humor that we did.
For the next few years, Baron Daemon was the hottest ticket in town. He opened supermarkets, he haunted sock hops, and every afternoon from 4 to 5, he captured the biggest audience in Central New York television, viewers of all ages. Bruce Koval has sold over 16 million science fiction and fantasy books for kids worldwide. He says the Baron's frightful fun was a real inspiration.
He was spooky and funny at the same time. And he was so goofy with that great bloody buddies accent that it was very easy to imitate because it was so broad. And my memory is of everybody in the school walking around saying bloody buddies at least once a day, probably 10 times a day when he was at his peak.
You know, he was always doing, it was always this hand washing, you know. Hello, kids. Welcome once again. Today we have something really good. Oh, look, it's Very Hairy. Come here, Very. Just this character that he invented was just terrific. And as I say, kids were just grilled to the TV, you know.
My wife once introduced me to a friend of hers who had been in town for a while, and she said, my husband used to be very hairy. And she looked at me and said, well, he still is, because of all the hair on my face. She had no idea who the character was.
After he finished building props, staff artist Dennis Calkins pulled on a rubber Halloween mask and floppy hat and became Very Hairy, the Baron's silent sidekick.
As a sidekick, if he couldn't think anything else to do, he'd kick me in the side, and that was supposed to be funny, and we'd fall down.
Floor manager Bill Eady wrote most of the skits and played many characters. That's him over the mantel. He often joined Mike on personal appearances all over the region, including the time they visited psychiatric patients in Utica.
Anyway, they put us in a padded cell to change. And I said, Mike, maybe we can't get out of here, and we couldn't. It was locked, and they'd forgotten us. So Mike leaned his head out the window and said, would you be able to, people pulling in their cars, would you be able to get us out of here? He said, we've been locked up here. And he said, I'm Baron Daemon from Syracuse and Channel 9. And they went, sure you are.
Tonight, we'll look back at the Baron and his bloody buddies. We've dug up some clips that haven't aired since the early 1960s. And we have a world premiere music video of the best-selling record ever released in Central New York, the Transylvania Twist.
I'm not an old lady. And I'm not a weakling. Nor am I a vampire with a cold. I drink blood a lot of tea because I like it.
Really taped it together, didn't you?
Different and exciting WNYS television.
Before colorful Channel 9 signed on the air in 1962, Central New York had just 2 TV stations. ABC network shows wouldn't air here unless they were tacked onto the other stations' schedules. More than a dozen potential owners jockeyed for the license until the FCC finally said enough and forced them to pool their resources and get the station on the air. They did it in just 9 months.
We did some innovative local programming, too much local programming. We wanted to do local live. We only had 8 people to do it. So we were one guy moving sets and another guy in audio and video, and it was a hectic time. But it was fun doing.
Comedy and humor, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we hope to have a lot of good times and fun and humor.
Not the slapstick stuff, though, like getting hit in the face with a pie.
No, nothing as mundane as that.
Beautiful.
That's weekdays, 1 to 2. I know it. The marketplace. Don't miss it.
Hey, this is pretty good pie.
There's wonderful viewing on colorful Channel 9 television for you.
Before music videos, there was the dance party, spun each afternoon on Channel 9 by WNDR DJ Bud Ballou. It aired weekdays at 5, right after the Baron and his buddies, and the Baron would often sneak in for a bite.
Pleasure to be here, Blood. No, I want to talk to you about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Bud.
What?
Bud Ballou.
Oh, your name?
Yeah.
Yes, all right, Blood. What a lovely neck you have.
I would come on as a special guest as Baron Daemon, and while the teenagers were dancing, I would run out into the middle of the dance floor and grab one of the young girls and pick her up and carry her off.
The Baron's most loyal fan, Monster Man Dan Phillips, recorded sound from one of those appearances on an old reel-to-reel tape recorder as he watched at home.
You know what I noticed here, Bud? There's a lot of lovely necks out here today, isn't there?
Girls out there, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a lot of them.
A lot of wolves.
Why don't you, go over and visit them?
Really? No.
So Bud Ballou, but he supplies the kids in the audience, the girls. He'd go in and grab them, carry them out the thing, and they all start screaming. Of course, they all look forward to it because they all knew he did it.
He always had a red fountain pen, and he'd put a couple of dots on her neck and pretend he was biting her neck. Give her a sweatshirt that said Baron Daemon.
Hey, what are you doing?
And then I'd say to her, I'd say, now when you go back in there, act as if you're a little bit weak, from loss of blood, a little bit anemic now. So then they would always play along and stagger back in there like, oh, the Baron bit me right here. Yes, all right, my dear.
Consider, if you will, one Baron Daemon, a relic of television's golden age, a black and white character in a Technicolor world.
I said black and white, you gumble brain, not black and blue.
Get the ghouls. I'm your murderator.
It was spring 1963, Channel 9's first full year on the air. Baron Daemon was the new station's one real hit.
You can have a hold of your baby, hold her tight, because Baron Daemon is flying tonight.
The record all came about because our general manager said, you know what, this thing is going so well, I've got an idea. If we could produce a 45 RPM, those are the ones, the little records with a big hole in the center, a 45 RPM, and see how that goes.
Adman Hovey Larison wrote lyrics. The song would be produced by sound engineer Mike Raposo. His studios were downtown in the Hotel Onondaga. Raposo brought in the town's top rock and roll band, Sam and the Twisters, who blended Raposo's original melody with the Twisters' own hit, Fooba Wooba John.
He's lonely, lonely,
The verses were very similar chord pattern, but Mike Raposo came up with a bridge for the song that made it, I think, made it quite different.
To sing backup vocals, Raposo called on the popular Big Tree Sisters, 3 young girls who had never sung rock and roll before.
The 3 of us had grown up singing harmony, so we pretty much, you know, felt the music. We didn't, you know, it just really came together in very few minutes.
We had it down pat, so it didn't take us long in there. But hanging around and having fun with everybody, that was great.
The Transylvania Twist was an immediate hit. Local radio stations have played it ever since, and it became Central New York's all-time #1 hit.
From the 40s all the way through, and by far, I mean, there's not even a second song that even comes close to this.
Scream your little heads off, the Barons around.
It was distributed within about a 40-50 mile radius of Syracuse, within our viewing area, that's all. And at different times people said, oh, we think we could go regional with that, or maybe even national, it would catch on. But the company, you know, they footed the bill and put up the money for it, and they didn't want us, all they wanted it to do was to promote what we were doing on the air at the time.
I'd take her to dancing, we'd have a ball. We'd never get back to you at all.
I'm telling you, there was times when we made appearances, you would think the Beatles were there. I mean, over 5,000 people in some instances.
The single sold over 12,000 copies, becoming the best-selling local record ever. It still is. And the Transylvania Twist is still a top request every Halloween all around Syracuse. Copies of the single now sell for $100 and more on eBay.
They are? You want to see a grown vampire cry right here? Because at one time, I had almost a closet full of them. They came in little boxes of 50 in a box, and I must have had 10 or 12 boxes of those. And I just gave them out to people, friends and relatives and people that I knew or anybody that would ask for them. And now I have 2. That's all. There's 2 left.
Hold of your baby and hold her tight because Baron Daemon is looking tonight.
You're watching the Baron Daemon Halloween Fright Fest on the News Channel 9.
If you love the Baron, you'll love this. The history of Syracuse television, including pictures from Mike Price's personal scrapbook. We'll include a DVD copy of the Baron's Fright Fest with each book, all for $35 plus postage. Order yours today at localsyr.com.
I'm trying to dig up an idea. Oh, I've got it. An old poem from the Transylvania Tome from many years ago. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner eating his piranha fish pie when he stuck in his thumb and pulled out a stump, and they called him Lefty. Wonderful, wonderful.
Legend has it you need a stake through the heart or maybe a silver bullet to kill a vampire. But in this case, it was fire that brought about the demise of Baron Daemon.
The fire broke out in the station's Shoppingtown studios on a Saturday morning in April of 1967. It took firefighters 2 hours to battle through thick, toxic smoke and get to the blaze. Channel 9 and nearby stores suffered millions of dollars in damage.
That was something. No one still at this day really knows what really started it. Some people say it was the furnaces that were in the ceiling. Others say it was the contractors who were redoing the bank up overhead. They had just got finished.
While firefighters fought to bring things under control, station staffers pulled out everything they could save.
And I heard a voice or a sound like that. And so I closed my eyes and put a handkerchief over my mouth and crawled, frankly, in the smoke and in the dark. And I reached out, and I heard that voice, and I reached out. It was a fireman with a gas mask on. He said, "Get the hell out of here, you fool!"
Channel 9 was back on the air within 3 hours from WCNY's public TV studios in Liverpool, but the Baron never made it back. New management had been cool to the character, and ad sales were falling. The fire destroyed all the props, sets, and costumes, driving the final nail in the coffin.
I'd been putting that costume on twice a day sometimes. And then with doing remotes and personal appearances, it'd be 3 times a day and sometimes 7 days a week. So after 5 years, I thought, well, isn't it terrible that it's going to go off? But I didn't really feel that bad.
You know what? We're going to present an award now to the Sammy Hall of Fame.
The first inductee.
The very first one into the Hall of Fame.
No one deserving it more than Mr. Jimmy Cavallo.
Jimmy Cavallo, yeah!
Did I call you Baron or Mike?
Either one. It's all right. Oh, darn.
Thank
Cat's out of the bag.
With the biggest hit of his career, the Transylvania Twist, behind him, Baron Daemon's star was fading fast. Hangers-on encouraged his bloodthirsty addiction, and the partying continued from sundown to sunrise. The Baron had the world by the throat, but his insatiable thirst for blood started to tear his fame apart. Women who once flocked to his side turned their backs on the batty legend.
One thing stands out above all of the rest. Oh, the Baron is stupid.
The press went for the jugular. Daemon's demons were driving a stake through the heart of his career.
Oh, Baron Daemon, I fear he was, how shall I put this, dear guest? He just wasn't my type. In fact, I understand he was O negative.
After he had that hit record, something came over him. He changed. Face it, it got to the point that he was nothing but a bloodsucker.
I'd heard that you couldn't trust him, but I tried to make friends. But when I put my thumbs at the corners of my mouth like this, he bit them.
When we return, the Baron's wings are clipped.
Transylvania Twist, yeah, big hit, huge hit. Don't get me wrong, Baron Daemon, great guy. Everybody in the business loves him, but I think it was a lip sync job. I've looked at the tapes. The man was not singing.
Oh, dear guest, do not be alarmed.
Baron Daemon wasn't the only spook in the neighborhood.
Since we have been unable to control the wasting away, there is only one other possibility. I shall have to perform surgery and preserve all the V-power that we can.
Alan Malaire and Bill Everett welcomed their dear guests to Monster Movie Matinee, a Saturday afternoon staple on Channel 3 starting in 1964. E-Paul was Everett's real name, Lape spelled backwards. He was the trusted aide of the unseen Dr. E. Nick Whitty, mysterious host of Monster Mansion. At first, Malaire only showed a hand, intending to let viewers guess what his face looked like. But after a couple of weeks, they started worrying what reaction that contest might bring.
About a third of the people would laugh, a third of the people would yawn, and a third of the people would be gasping. And the odds were too great, so we decided to not show Dr. Whitty, and we never did.
The pair had staying power. They lasted 15 years on Channel 3 and another couple of years on New Channel's cable into the mid-'80s.
But it looked great, and the kids said they didn't care how really things looked. Apparently the dialogue was that they liked that dialogue. I could never understand it. The dialogue, if you read it in a script, you'd say, what's this stuff, you know?
And I shall endeavor to keep you entertained, dear guest, with this little narrative, The Unknown.
And now a message from one of the candidates in the race for the governor of Transylvania.
All right. Thank you, you crazy ghouls and guys. Good evening, I'm Baron Daemon, and I want to be your governor. Now, what this campaign needs is new blood. A candidate with some bite. What can you expect from a Daemon administration? Well, some candidates promise a chicken in every pot. I'll put you in a real stew. My opponents charge that I have no experience, no qualifications, no track record of leading people. To that I say, what better time than now? Now, let's get to my platform. Death to taxes. Oh, death. What a wonderful word. I love that word. So, vote for us because we have a real stake in this election. Ooh, stake. Not a good word for a vampire. If elected, you can depend on this. No candidate is more batty about Transylvania than I am.
The proceeding was paid for by the committee to recall Baron Daemon's candidacy. Why wait until it's too late?
The Baron and His Buddies aired every weekday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Kids would rush home from school to catch the comedy of Mack and Meyer for Hire, cartoons with Rocky and Bullwinkle, and sci-fi classics, Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon.
The Baron wasn't the only locally produced children's show on Channel 9 over the years, or even the only one for Mike Price. He also delivered Looney Tunes with a side of shtick weekday mornings as the country bumpkin Cousin Orky. And Syracuse TV pioneer Charlie Featherstone filled weekday mornings with fun at Charlie's Place.
Oh, you crazy son of a gun!
In the early 70s, Syracuse became one of 50 cities with its own Bozo the Clown. Syracuse native and SU grad Mike Laddiff pulled on the light blue coveralls and orange yak hair wig for a high-energy hour of after-school fun. He made appearances around town, drawing huge crowds everywhere he went, arriving once by helicopter and another time dancing with a ballet company, complete with his size 83 AAA clown shoes. Federal limits on children's television advertising brought Bozo's Big Top to a close after a year-long run in Syracuse, but Mike Laddiff went on to a behind-the-scenes role at the Children's Television Workshop's Electric Company, and eventually to his own media company. And it wasn't all for laughs. A succession of 3 friendly faces brought the magic mirror to life each morning as Romper Room counted Central New York as one of about 90 stations coast to coast to bring the franchise to local children. One of those teachers even tried to connect with a national audience.
I get so excited when I go to my mailbox because I keep hoping that there'll be a letter or a picture or a poem from you.
Ladybug's Garden was an ambitious project that started in the original Channel 9 studios in Shoppingtown, DeWitt. Well, it actually started in the imagination of Ladybug herself, host and producer Kathy Stampaglia. She created it in the early 1970s as part of a master's thesis at Syracuse University, and it grew into a nationally syndicated children's program. The first year was produced at Channel 9, the second at the WCNY studios.
Kathy Stampaglia Hawkins came to Syracuse as the Romper Room teacher on Channel 9. Teaching was her life. She spent 25 years as the chair of the TV radio department here at Onondaga Community College.
At home or at school or at play in the garden.
When she retired, she was the longest tenured department chair in the SUNY system, and she's credited with creating a radio television department that has produced broadcast professionals working at all levels across the country, including her latest successor as department chair.
I think one of the things I liked about her was the wisdom that she gave you that necessarily wasn't about radio and TV, but about you as a person and life in general.
Yep. Some of the set pieces from Ladybug's Garden have been stored at OCC for nearly 50 years. Now they're making their way into history.
How long did it run? 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Okay.
They've been donated to the Onondaga Historical Association to join other memories from our childhood in front of the TV.
This is one of Jean Doherty's Play Lady dresses.
Yeah, I remember the marching band guys on the dress.
When people come into this room in particular, they are sort of overcome with emotions. They're immediately back being an 8-year-old kid watching the black and white or watching the color TV. It's to watch that reaction, it makes it all worthwhile.
But it was the Baron, above all, that captured the attention of Central New York and has held on to it for generations, as Rod Wood and Carrie Lazarus noted during our 50th anniversary celebration at Onondaga Community College.
It's Mike Price and Dennis Calkins. Welcome, everybody.
Also known as Very Hairy.
Dennis, what was it like working alongside Mike and Bill Eadie on this live, sort of semi-scripted, but not really show?
When we originally started it, Mike was by himself. He was just on, and he'd be on for minutes, and he'd start to lose it, and wouldn't quite know what to do. So he said, "We got to do something to save him." So I suggested, well, why don't we have a character come on and just be with him, and when he gets in trouble, he can kick him in the side, and that'll be the sidekick. So I suggested it in a meeting, and they said, "Well, who's going to do it? It's your idea. You do it." So
I know that you had a lot of personal appearances on weekends. What was that like? Were there throngs of people there?
Bill Eadie and I took off for
Old Forge, to be at the Enchanted Forest. And you know, at Old Forge, they have they used to anyway, a little western village. And part of that was Boot Hill. Well, on a Friday afternoon, we got up there and we set the imitation crypt up on the top of Boot Hill. Then we came back down and went to dinner. And after dinner, we went into the lounge at the Knotty Pine. Some of you may be familiar with that. And we had a couple drinks. We imbibed a little bit. Then we walked across the street. I think it was a Golden Nugget at the time. And we thought, well, let's see what's going on in there. And we had a couple more there. And then we went to Brindisi's next door to that, and we had a few more. And
Did you walk to all these places?
Then we staggered. I walked back to the motel, and somebody kept moving the lock on the door. But finally we got inside, and we both flopped immediately. Well, then the alarm went off about 7 in the morning, and we both woke up with splitting headaches. I don't know what caused that. We were both, especially me, expelling a lot of gas. A lot of belching and burping. But we got in the car, and we took off, and we got up to Boot Hill. And this young woman walked in with her young son, who was about 5 years old, and she said, "There he is up there. There's that guy, that living dead vampire up there. Go up there and see him." So the kid ran up the hill, and I shook his hand, and I said, "Well, hello there, bloody buddy. How are you today?" And his eyes opened wide, and he gasped, and he ran down the hill. And about halfway down the hill, he said, "Mom, he really is dead. You ought to smell him."
Mike Price and Dennis Calkins.
And you gumble brain.
Don't go away. There's still more frightfully good fun coming up with the Baron and his buddies.
If you love the Baron, you'll love this. The history of Syracuse television, including pictures from Mike Price's personal scrapbook. We'll include a DVD copy of the Baron's Fright Fest with each book, all for $35 plus postage. Order yours today at localsyr.com.
After he hung up the Baron's cape in 1967, Mike took on a variety of roles at Channel 9, both on the air and behind the scenes. He did weather and sports reports, emceed telethons, even hosted a morning talk show for a year. Then in the mid-1980s, Mike pitched an idea to station management, and a little good news for him meant a lot of good news for Central New York.
Instead of working as a general assignment reporter, would there be room to just have somebody that specialized in human interest and feature reports? Whoa! And he said, "Oh, you think you would like to try that?" I said, "Yeah, I think that's my forte. I think that's what I can do best." He said, "Okay, let's try it for a few days and see how it goes."
It went pretty well. Mike's Good News feature left viewers smiling for more than 20 years, an era that coincidentally saw the station's news ratings grow from 3rd place to 1st. Mike knew there were a lot of stories that fell through the cracks about decent people who wouldn't otherwise make headlines.
Did you learn a lot this year?
Yeah.
Mike was especially fond of reporting on the achievements of school children from all over Central New York. And those kids were especially fond of him.
There's something magic about being on television, and it's telling your family and your friends, "Hey, I'm important, I did something great." And Mike's stories have always been so positive in a world where we've had so many negative things happen. He's been the shining light and the positive moment for all of us.
The kids that I work with, especially the elementary school kids, and that's mostly what I do the stories with, they're a lot of fun to work with, and they're cute. And I've never gotten bored with it. I've always enjoyed working with the kids. Yeah.
Mike also made some news of his own. He served for many years with the U.S. Coast Guard Reserve, including a stint on active duty with the Joint Combat Camera Unit during the Gulf War. He was activated at the age of 53. And in 2001, Mike decided to tell the story of his own open heart surgery.
Every day I feel a little bit stronger, feel my strength coming back.
He came through with flying colors and has inspired countless other heart patients since then.
I love this community. I love this city. I love Central New York.
And Central New York has found a lot of ways to return that love. Mike's been honored by the Syracuse Press Club with both a Career Achievement Award and a plaque on the Wall of Distinction at the Mulroy Civic Center.
I think I'll call it a wrap.
And when he retired after 46 years at News Channel 9, hundreds of his fans turned out to celebrate his career at Onondaga Lake Park.
We hereby proclaim the 9th day of July 2008 as Mike Price Community Recognition Day.
Thank you. Oh, Joni, thanks very much.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. If it hadn't been for you folks, I would have had to go out and get a real job.
Okay, this is Mike Price, also known to Channel 9 viewers and people throughout the Central New York area as Baron Daemon.
Mike was the last original employee at News Channel 9. He first came to work a week before the station signed on in September of 1962. Over all those years, he's been a mentor and a friend to generations of Channel 9 employees. Service like that calls for some very special recognition.
Cakes get eaten and the laptops become obsolete at some point. But every night when we come into the studio to do the news, we're going to be thinking about you because this is now officially Mike Price Studio here at News Channel 9. Yep.
Thank you very much.
And we will be proud to come in.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. You're the best, Mike.
You know, one of the things that's made this job so pleasurable and so nice is the people that I work with here. Everybody that's out there in the studio right now in Mike Price Studio.
Yep. You like that, huh?
That sounded, yeah, I like the sound of that, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
As with a lot of people, our buddy Mike just seemed to get busier and busier the longer he was retired.
Hello, I'm Mike Price, and I can't wait to travel with you. Join me on a Rhine River cruise.
He remained a familiar face on TV as an ambassador traveling the world with holiday vacations. He kept busy serving as drum major for the Central New York Police and Fire Band. And in 2023, well-deserved national recognition when Mike and the Baron were honored with a place in the official Horror Host Hall of Fame, the same year as fellow inductee and Syracuse native Rod Serling of the Twilight Zone. That would cap a distinguished career.
We begin tonight with some very sad news for our News Channel 9 family and all of Central New York. Broadcast legend Mike Price has died at the age of 87.
A career spanning 46 years. Mike was the comical Baron Daemon. He was the good news reporter. He was much loved in Central New York.
Mike's death at the age of 87 marked the end of a fond era in local television. Over the summer, Central New York paid tribute during a public ceremony at the Syracuse International Jazz Festival in Clinton Square.
Who Mike Price was off camera was the same as the person he was on camera. And it's a business that, sometimes can be cynical. Mike chose to focus on the positive, to lift people up.
Not only a legendary TV performer, but a gentle man and a wonderful human being. The best guy I've ever worked with, a smile on his face and a song in his heart and a joke around every corner.
The last project Mike worked on was a documentary with young filmmakers from Pennsylvania, looking to answer Bobby Boris Pickett's question in the #1 hit, The Monster Mash. Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
This is the song right here. This is amazing. The guitar playing, the musicianship, his voice he sounds like a singing Count Chocula. I'm like, I gotta find this guy.
When we met him, it was originally just to interview him for the documentary, but immediately he and his partner Valdine, they felt like family.
I just had a feeling that, I don't know, once I met him, he was gonna be everything I thought he was gonna be, and he turned out to be even cooler than that.
I think I've contributed something to our community and to our society here locally.
Here we go, kids, let's go.
And makes me feel great, and it's very gratifying when people will come up to me almost every day and say, oh, we love what you do. You have the best job in the world. People say, I wish I had your job.
Oh, my goodness, look out, whoa, hey.
And I've had a lot of fun doing it. It's been a lot of joy for me, so I'm going to miss it, yeah.
I'm coming over a little closer.
A little closer? We always did like to get closer.
We'll make you feel so young. We'll make you feel that spring has sprung. We'll take you back to childhood days when all of us were TV visitors. Look what we gave you. Look what we saved you. You helped a dream survive.
Look at this, a little touch up here. You know, Boris, when I flew over to Greece, I didn't have time to land and get the Grecian formula, so I had to settle for our own Transylvanian formula, Boris. You know, if you and I and Very Harry put our heads together, I think we can do it. It's been 35 years, but I think we can put a comeback together here, Boris. It's going to be quite an undertaking, though, Boris, but... Oh, that's one of my favorite words. Here I am as a contestant on Transylvanian Idol. Oh, I've always wanted a chance at this, and I'm going to perform before the three judges here. Two of my favorites, Boris and Very Harry, and some English fop in the middle there. I'm not so sure about him, but here goes nothing here, guys. Are you ready? I wish I'd had time to rehearse. One of my favorite words, hers. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and I want to go home. Oh, hurry up, Boris, and carry me a zombie. Daylight come and I want to go home. I hear you can order them from Fitch and Abercrombie. Daylight come and I want to go home. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and I want to go home. Well, judges, what do you think, huh? Boris? All right, Boris, a good old pal, yes. Well, Very Harry, what do you think, Very? Oh, no, he always does the same thing. He's never sure of anything. Well, what do you think, English fop?
It was ghastly. You're deadly. And batty.
Deadly, he said. A wonderful batty. I must be a winner. Thank you there, judges. Yes. Well, you know what, Very? Now it's time to take one of our calls, and we've got a call in from Dead Man's Bluff. All right, let's listen in to our first caller. It seems the lines, Very, have gone dead. Well, hello and welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with your host, Baron Daemon. Boris is our contestant this evening. Well, Boris, we're so glad you're with us for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Are you ready for question number one, Boris? All right, here it is. This is for one skull now, if you can remember. What is the 18th letter of the alphabet? No. Well, it's letters, Boris, not numbers. Oh, 18 is R, that's correct. Very good, Boris. Oh, what a bright little monster you are. Question number two. This is for 10 skulls, Boris. Are you ready? Now, what is the Transylvania cheer at Transylvania Tech, Boris? Excellent, Boris. You're right. It's D. Hurrah! This is our last question for this evening. For 50 skulls, how do you prepare steak tartare? Oh, steak? I've got to be careful when I say words like that. How do you like it, Boris? Rare! That's right! Well, Boris, well done, Boris. Excellent. Yes, it was. Well done, Boris. Yes. No, I mean, rare was the correct answer. Boris, behave yourself. You would never have done this in the old days. Boris, you're a bad boy, Boris. Been around as long as I have. You have to stay up on the latest technology. That's why Boris and I are just getting ready to check our website. You know, it never fails. When Halloween rolls around, I hear from ghouls near and far who want to hear the song that's still the #1 best-selling single ever in central New York. You guessed it, the Transylvania Twist. Hit it, Boris! You idiot! I meant the video! Oh.
Grab a hold of your baby, hold her tight, cause Baron Daemon is flying tonight. If you see a wheelchair, go or hear me, don't leave her alone. She might be a date for Baron Daemon.
I'd take her dancing, we'd have a ball. He'd never get back to you at all.
Yeah, he's cool, but way I'm cool. What a fool.
Yeah, I'm poor, a crazy ghoul. But I'm no fool. When I have a date, I'd like her to know all of my friends like fast domino. So I need a quarter for a musical shot to the cool spook box.
Then I'll do the twist Pennsylvania style. Although she's screaming all of the while.
Look at I'm a hold of your baby and hold her tight because Baron Daemon is looking to fight.
Yeah, that's right. She's loose tonight. Yeah, that's right. She's such a fright. Yeah, that's right. She's loose tonight. Yeah, such a fright.
What do we have here? Oh, I hope you've enjoyed our little Halloween special. And to close things off, I thought I'd read you a special poem from the Transylvania Tome. Pay attention, will you, Barry? I'm going to recite here now. What a coincidence. I just happened to open to one of my favorites. It's Jack Sprat could eat no fat. His wife could eat no lean. So betwixt them both they starved to death and turned a sickly green. Kind of like you, Boris. Yes. Isn't that right, Barry? Well, on behalf of Barry, Harry, and Boris, my old buddies, and yours truly, thank you for being with us this evening, and have a frightful Halloween.
When I want to swing, I fly to Mars to take the sound of the ghost guitar. They dig this sound underground. That's all, folks.